Well, very happy to be talking with you here today and learn a little bit about yourself, a little bit about Torchlight strategy, what you got going on that side. And just to kick us off, Kyle, you mind just giving a little introduction, talk a little bit about yourself as well as who you're supporting with Torchlight strategy and kind of what the business is about on your side?
Yeah, so really my background is in building businesses and really actually understanding how money flows through them. I've spent a lot of time stepping into different companies that are growing but don't really have much structure behind that growth, and really just set up systems and processes to visualize what's actually going on, get some clarity around their revenue, how it's generated, where it's leaking, and yeah, how we can support scaling, not just the short-term growth, but really set them up for long-term success.
What do you see are the most common areas where business owners are struggling to grow?
Yeah, I would say that the biggest problem that they have is not really knowing what is actually producing capital and what's not, and where that money is actually going, and honing in more on what activities are producing that income.
Gotcha. And so where does that usually start? I mean, is it just overview of the financials? Is it getting into the systems? Where is your entry point to talking with the business owner?
Yeah, so really, I try to step back. I think that a really important thing that a lot of business owners don't look at is they get so up close and ingrained with their business that it's really difficult for them to step back and get a 50,000 foot view of their business and what's really going on from that perspective. And I think having a fresh set of eyes and where I step in to do that really teaches them how to step back and look at that, and look at the bigger picture, not just, oh, we have to take care of this client right here.
And same thing on our side. We see it all the time that people get into this almost this rut where they're thinking they're doing the right thing, and then they step back and actually look at how it fits into the bigger puzzle, and they start to see quickly, go, oh, this worked when 2 years ago when we needed to do it this way, but now it's holding us back almost, right? And I'm sure you've seen that all the time on your side.
Things change. Yeah, you have to really be, in this day and age, especially, you have to be adaptive, very adaptive.
Beautiful. And so I mean, you get embedded with the business, right? You're understanding all the different facets that are coming in. How important is it when it comes to the accurate financial systems and the data that's actually driving those systems?
It's everything. Bad data doesn't just create confusion, it can create bad decisions within the business. When that happens, you end up scaling problems instead of fixing them.
Great comment that you end up scaling problems instead of fixing them. And we definitely see that on our side all the time. And so from your perspective, where does a financial infrastructure actually fit into the broader picture of the revenue growth? Is it something that is like a detailed daily operational process? Is it something that they need to wait for some data to come in to be able to actually make decisions? How do you actually formulate the procedure to actually run the revenue and the operational strategy?
Really, the first part, I mean, it's the foundation of all the decision, right? And I think finding the right tools is super important, and having the right systems in place for that. So, without the proper visuals and insights of what's actually going on within the business, you can't make those decisions to tell you what happened and where you should go to next, right? So,
Yeah.
that clarity is super important.
And so I assume no different than us when we start talking with people, the data's a little messy, right? And then we get to a point where we're underway, we're finally getting things tracked, we're fixing up, making sure that the structure and all the data that's actually getting injected is coming out in a nice format. How did the conversations change with you once we actually have clean data? What does that actually mean for the business owner once they start to go forward?
Yeah, they can really start to make educated decisions, and they can be less reactive. Right. So I think before having that data, they're kind of reacting to past information. Whereas when you have that current and accurate picture of where the financials are, especially in like a live point of view, they can start to be a little bit more strategic in future planning versus just reacting to what those past looks like. So that can mean going back to like focusing on what those certain aspects of their business are that really generate the best revenue. And then that could also be cutting some losses too, right? So if they're doing certain things that just aren't generating the right amount of revenue, or it's costing the company more than it really makes sense, they can scale back on that.
What does the relationship look like with you in a long-term sense, right? So we're past all the fun little issues that need to get solved, and now we're looking at the long term. What does the relationship actually look like? Is it a quarterly relationship? Is it getting super embedded where you're meeting with them frequently? What's it actually mean for customers once they have that ability to unlock the data and actually start being proactive about it?
Some of my customers, I'm very, very ingrained in their business. We typically, most of them, I'll have weekly meetings with them. Some of them we do meet with quarterly and just stick to the financial side of things where it's saying, okay, here's where we are. This is what we're doing. This is what things are looking like. What's making sense? What's not making sense? So it really depends on the customer, the size. I work with customers that are just starting out their businesses and maybe they only have one employee or they're solo. And I've got customers that are, doing $5-10 million in revenue and have a fair sized team. And it looks different with a lot of them. So
When you start working with somebody who's scaling quickly, but the systems aren't supporting it, what are some of the challenges that they face when they actually come into a system where you're coming in to advise them? Where are the biggest challenges that you have to help them overcome?
for me, I feel like it's teaching them to let go of control a little bit. So many business owners, that's such a struggle. And I even have gone through that myself, right? They really want to hold on to things. And it's important to let them know, hey, you know what? You're hiring your team, you're hiring these services to do their job, and we have to learn to let go to let them do that. And that's a personal growth thing. And I think it's something that we all go through as business owners and really learn how to delegate properly, to where you can sleep at night and not stay up worrying about it.
It's one of those things that we see too, right? I mean, no business owner truly got in to manage the bookkeeping from our end, but we see so frequently that they've been doing it so long that it's something that's hard for them to give up, even though they know they're making mistakes, they know they have issues, all these different pieces. But it's an
Mhm.
area that it's almost tough to give up just because it's that security and that peace of mind that no, if I have control of it, at least I know where things are at, right? But
Yeah.
now people like yourself come in and it's focused on actually putting that control onto a different team or onto different people, right? Where
Yeah.
that owner is able to let go of the actual day-to-day activity of it and become more of the thought leader, if you will, on utilizing the outcome of that data and actually being able to take things forward. And we see the pain and the struggle all the time on that side too as
Yeah.
well. So
I,
hearing
I
that,
will say that the relief that I see in those business owners, once they learn to do that, it's awesome.
yeah,
The relief that they actually get for it once they do let go of that, and once they see that how it's being handled and the clarity that they have and not having to worry about it, it's a huge weight lifted off their shoulders. And it really allows them to focus on other parts of their business and be more strategic with their company and not just a headache of the financials. So
definitely, definitely. And so if we start to look toward the future, right, companies are becoming much more data driven. There's just more options for tooling or different systems that just produce very, very good data. What do you think the next generation of high performing businesses will do differently when it actually comes to managing their operations, their data, their revenue? What are the changes that you see upcoming from a business owner perspective?
I think that's really they're going to be managing it in real time, right? Kind of like the comment I had earlier about being a little bit more reactive versus proactive. They're not going to be waiting for end of the month reports anymore. They're going to have live visibility into their revenue, their performance, their risk, and that's going to allow them to move faster than everyone else, and really outpace their competitors in the market.
I mean, even when we first started Uplink, people were asking if we could do quarterly closes, right? And now
Mhm.
it's slowly shifting to It's like I need all my data right now because I need to make a decision for tomorrow, right? It's not
Yep.
about we used to use the term that it's like driving a car while looking in the rearview mirror. It just isn't that anymore. That the data
Yeah.
it's flowing
Yeah.
everywhere. It's flowing so quick. It's getting the systems to actually be able to dissect and interpret the data so that way as the business owner you can look at it and understand, okay, this is where I'm at, this is where I need to get to, and here's the plan about how to get there, right? And it is that
Yep.
the world's changing so much, and the business owner perspective is it's getting so much more fun to actually be able to know confidently what's going on your day to day, right?
Yeah, and it really does get fun, right? Because, as a business owner, this is all a game. We're all playing this as a game. So any kind of little advantage that you can have playing this game, it's just going to take you that much further and makes it that much more fun because we're all here to make money and make an impact, and the right tools make a huge difference with that.
Plain last question I have for you, Kyle. What advice would you give to the business owners who are scaling, who are kind of lost? what's the first piece of advice that you would give them to be able to get a handle on their systems, their growth, and the different pieces?
At the end of the day, there's a lot of companies that are working really, really hard. They're just not always working on the right things. So a lot of companies also don't really have a revenue problem. They have a visibility problem. They can't see where their money is. Once they have those right systems in place and their clarity in place, they can stop guessing and start making more decisions that actually move that business forward. And truly, I believe that's where the real leverage is.
Well, Kyle, much appreciate you talking with me here today. Very happy to be working with you on your side and very excited for what the future holds, especially, I mean, talking about what it means for business owners. It's fun to be a part of that. And so very much appreciate the time and look forward to catching up again in the not too near future.
Yeah. Yeah. Likewise. Thanks so much, Ethan.
Beautiful.